The battle between Luffy and Katakuri comes to an unexpected close. Who will win? Who will lose? And what will be left of them? Before I go any further in this review, let me just say that this chapter was awesome in every single way. I mean, really, it was a perfect One Piece chapter. We got a really great conclusion to what is arguably one of the best fights of the series, and it had one of the coolest Luffy and enemy interactions that I've ever seen. And I'm talking about that amazingly epic hat scene. But before we go any further, I think the conclusion of the battle between Luffy and Katakuri is going to be a hot topic of debate. And that's because everybody's going to be questioning who actually won here. I mean, did Luffy win? Did Katakuri win? Was it a stalemate between two characters? You could argue that since Luffy got the last shot in and actually managed to stand up first, that he's the winner, but Katakuri stood up as well. This was a battle which ended with both characters utilizing superpowered techniques which both knocked each other out, making them unconscious until they finally got up again. The difference being that Luffy got up and he stayed up. Katakuri, on the other hand, got up, but then immediately fell back over from exhaustion from this extreme battle. It's hard to say. I mean, the last chapter ended with both characters just flying at each other with their strongest techniques, and Luffy just barely managed to dodge his attack and hit him point blank with a big ol' frickin' fist to the gut. And it's really satisfying looking, and Luffy himself got severely damaged by being, like, slammed through multiple floors into the ground into a pit that he had to actually crawl himself out of. Wouldn't be the first time that he's actually done that in the series, though, which of course gave him the edge in the battle. But I think the best thing about this chapter is not even the action or even just the conclusion and seeing the destruction of all this stuff. It was that amazing moment between Luffy and Katakuri at the end when Katakuri actually acknowledges Luffy's strength, saying that one day he's going to come and defeat Big Mom. And of course Luffy responds, of course he is. He's going to be the Pirate King. Katakuri then just passes out, and then Luffy takes his brand new gangster hat, not his straw hat, and then tosses it down on Katakuri's face, covering up his mouth, in a way showing respect for this character. I loved that moment. Like, so freaking awesome. I got, like, so jacked up after seeing that scene, and I truly hope we'll get to see more of Katakuri in the future, and maybe get a really cool rematch between these two characters, because this was an insane fight. I mean, yeah, Luffy did get that final hit, but really, Katakuri could have defeated him just as easily. I mean, this was insane. So, all of that stuff is great, but this week's chapter is supplemented by a lot of other stories which are just as equally interesting. Honestly, I think the next shocking scene has to be the moment between Pudding and Sanji, where Sanji is waiting for Luffy to come out of the mirror so that he can save him at the last second, but before that happens, he thanks Pudding for everything that she's done to help him out despite the fact that she is evil, and she tries to display that personality a little bit, but of course he dresses up by saying that she was going to be a great bride. She starts to cry, and then she asks one final request of Sanji. She removes a cigarette from his mouth, and we don't get to see what happens after that. Methinks she's probably kissing him right here, which is going to be something we'll probably never see. This is one of those scenes that's definitely going to be up for interpretation for people, and I can't wait to see what they're going to have to say about it. And I would love to see how Sanji actually reacted to a woman actually kissing him. You'd think that his frickin' pantaloons would explode. All I know is this is a great moment between these two characters, and as far as I'm concerned, at the end of the series, Sanji might as well marry the three-eyed girl. We also follow up a little bit more on the Straw Hat Pirates and the Beiji Capone Pirates as they're escaping away from Big Mom. Really, this is just a collective of all the major things that are going on here, but really it all pales in comparison to the alter ego of Peckham's, Mysteroms, who appears with Brule at the end of the chapter to save Luffy, and it's so obviously Peckham's, it's not even funny. Maybe this is just a running gag in the series, where they take a character and they try to dress them up and give them an alter ego, and it totally doesn't work. It's happened twice in this arc, and it's happening again here with Peckham's. It makes sense why he has to do this, though. I mean, if Big Mom or any of the crew saw him doing this and helping out Luffy, his head would most definitely be on some sort of candy-colored chopping block. So that basically is how it's all going to end. Peckhams is going to save the day, which I think is actually pretty awesome. And he has Brule in hand, so they're going to be able to jump out of there and hopefully make a clean escape, but it's probably not going to be that simple. I'm pretty sure that this is how the arc is definitely going to come to the end, with Mom eating a cake and Luffy and them escaping. Really, this arc right here is unlike any other. It's just sort of bringing upon the wrath of a brand new force, and that's going to be Big Mom's fleet and family, who are going to be chasing Luffy and his friends all over the freaking new world. So, what's the rundown on this chapter of One Piece right here? Satisfying. That's really the best way to describe this one right here. While I wanted a little bit more from the battle between Luffy and Katakuri, especially because in the last chapter it was the first appearance of Snake Man, I wanted at least another chapter of seeing that in action. I wanted to see some more new techniques. The good thing is, everything that we did get was awesome, and this battle was just intense. Maybe one of the most, if not the most intense battle of the entire series. It's always hard to tell a little bit more in manga form, as the anime version always tends to take these fights and make them even crazier. So there's an opportunity to see what they're going to do with this in the anime version, which is something that I always look forward to. So Toei Animation, don't fuck this up! Other than that, I think the best thing about this chapter just had to be the detail in the artwork, and of course that amazing interaction between Luffy and Katakuri at the end of their battle. Him covering up his mouth with the hat was so awesome. It acknowledged that he knew everything about that character, the fact that he was embarrassed by his face, and he sort of honored him in that moment. He recognized him. It was great. And this was just after Katakuri also sort of realized that, yeah, Luffy's pretty freaking powerful, and of course he delivers the best line of the chapter where Luffy says he's going to be Pirate King. That's when Katakuri says that, yeah, I guess you can see pretty far into the future. Basically, he's giving him his blessing to become the Pirate King in the most coolest, manliest way possible. Just, I loved this chapter, guys. It was really great. Despite the fact that this whole ending has been incredibly long-winded, I mean, it can be compared to the end of The Lord of the Rings Return of the King at this point, with the amount of times that we've had these faded flashbacks into the ending it. I am interested to see how this is all going to end and the repercussions it's going to have for the future, as, like I said, it's almost 100% guaranteed that Big Mom and her family are going to be constantly chasing after Luffy at this point, which is going to lead into a lot of crazy confrontations when you factor in the fact that we're going to see the likes of Kaido and the land of Wano, which is going to be coming up, an arc which I'm very excited for, if only for the build-up that was actually presented with it. And of course, I want to get back to the other characters. Does anybody else want to see Zoro again? I know I want to see Zoro. It seemed weird seeing him, like, absent from this arc right here. It almost seems like if Zoro were here, he'd be the one who would be fighting against Katakuri. I don't know. He comes across as a Zoro-esque guy that he would fight against. I don't know, but still, I'm just excited for all that. But this one right here, man, what a solid conclusion. I loved it all. I even loved all of the smaller moments with Big Mom's family members. Again, they're just so quirky and fun to look at. And with the super detailed artwork in this month's chapter, this week's chapter, really, it just looked really fantastic. Great conclusion to the battle. And really, there could be some more twists and turns as we move out into this arc as well. So we're not out of the woods yet. I just can't wait to see how this is all going to go down. So I loved this chapter. It's a 5 out of 5 for me, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Make sure to tell me what you thought about this week's chapter of One Piece. Did you like the battle between Luffy and Katakuri? Did you have a favorite moment? What did you think of the conclusion? Was it a stalemate? Did Luffy win? Did Katakuri win? How is this arc going to end? What do you want to see from the future One Piece? Basically, what I'm saying is start a discussion in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime and manga reviews. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time. And as always, stay damn, baby.